You know that feeling when you dive into a new campaign and wonder, what character do I really want to be? That choice isn't just about stats and abilities, but also living out a wild fantasy by becoming a hero or even villain that matches wildest dreams and creates exciting stories worth widespreading. To feel the rush of charging headfirst into battle and obliterating everything in the path like a wrecking ball, or the curiosity of bending reality itself and creating the most interesting spell combo, even pondering what fresh take can have on a class. And that's what I'm excited to explore. In this video, I'm breaking down what makes each D&D 5e class tick, how they work mechanically, why they grab our imaginations, why people prefer one class over others, and most importantly, what interesting twists they can give to our adventures. So, if you are ready to dive deeper into the world of D&D, then grab your character sheet, roll initiative, and let's get started. So, want to be like Hulk, smash hard and tank damage like an absolute beast, then chose a dummy thick Barbarian. For an extra fun twist, watch Keijo to get some ideas on how to use those dummy thick cheeks to become Barbarian. Seriously though, this class is all about raw power. While a wizard would get yeeted off the battlefield by a heavy hit, a Barbarian's just like, nah, I'm good. The class can afford to be much more careless because it has the highest hit dice. Unarmored defense heavily encourages to prioritize constitution, and while raging, gains a resistance to physical damage types, which are very common in early game. From 11th level, the class becomes too angry to die with relentless rage. The class also allows easier to hit target and double critical chance with reckless attack giving an advantage, and rage provides extra damage on top of it. It is so satisfying when raged. Great axe wielding half-orc barbarian crits in early levels, dealing absolutely savage 3d12 plus 5 damage, averaging 25, which is usually enough to knock out a full health 2nd level frontliner or even 4th level backliner. If Barbarian is beginner friendly, the easiest class to use in 5e, due to only having a few class inherited mechanics. Then on the other side of skill spectrum is Druid, Aquadweeb, who can talk with fishes. Moreover, if Baldur's Gate 3 has taught me something, then the class lets to become a literal party animal and go really wild.
Are you certain? It will be untamed, vigorous, and, well, large.
That is my kind of becoming one with nature. Druid is so much fun because it lets players flex their imaginations. So if clever exploitation of mechanics is your thing, then like and sub to see things from a different angle. With wild shape, Druid can turn into all kinds of creatures to fit the situation. Need to travel long distances through dangerous territory? Druid from 8th can turn into a bird and soar through the skies for hours without anybody noticing. Need a tank to soak up damage for the team? Just go full bear mode, gaining a lot of extra HP. Spells like Speak with Animals open a new world of interactions and options to achieve goals. For example, birds become a part of your spy network. Still remember,
with great power comes great
homework. The class, besides needing to choose from tenths of spells from the start, understand walls of text for each spell, and know how to manage limited spell slot resources, just like any caster would. The class user on top of that also needs to prepare appropriate stat blocks for each animal they wish to turn into by using wild shape. In general, the more spells are involved, the more difficult it is to use the class. Martials being in general the easiest classes to use, full casters the most difficult, and half casters being in the middle. But it is a trade-off. In general, spells can mimic and often surpass anything non-casters can do, and from 11th level, when level 6 spells are available, caster and non-caster usefulness divide becomes too huge. 11th level Barbarian can kill enemies by hitting really hard, cute. 11th level casters can super kill enemies with Disintegrate, turning them into literal dust. To reverse death, just use a level 3 spell Revivify, which is usually available to players from 5th level. To reverse super death, need level 9 spells, True Resurrection or Wish, which usually are available to players from 17th level. If you are all about that big damage like the Barbarian, but want to have more interesting choices, then the Fighter is for you. What flavor do you want? Hawkeye by choosing Archery and gaining a +2 bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons. Captain America with fighting styles like Protection to defend allies with that mighty shield. Or choose Superior Technique, with which you learn one of numerous maneuvers of the Battlemaster archetype, giving a faint taste of being a spellcaster. Or you can channel Daredevil and choose Blind Fighting, getting blind sight with a range of 10 feet. Who needs eyes when you have got those sick reflexes? Fighter is also a great class to multi-class into, because 2nd level Action Surge gives an additional action, which is a huge thing in this action economy ruled game. Add from 5th level an extra attack, from 11th level an extra attack to an extra attack, and from 20th level even an additional extra attack. And no wonder that at some point Fighter becomes a JoJo character. I really like the idea of Fighter approaching fighting as a science, chess-like battle, just like JoJo does, even being a smug academic. Or just go straight to an 80s and 90s action movie hero like Rambo or Terminator, spewing cool one-liners and taking names. Just like Captain America, Fighter can fight all day by having 2nd highest hit dice, 2nd wind letting to regain hit points, and starting from 9th level getting, we have legendary resistance at home in the form of Indomitable, which allows to re-roll a failed saving throw. If you love teamwork, then choose Rogue. Of course, if with teamwork you mean throwing allies under the bus, while disappearing faster than your dad going out for milk. After all, cunning action lets dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action instead of an action. So yeah, good luck catching Rogue when things go sideways. And Sneak Attack lets to deal an extra damage if the attack roll has an advantage, or if within 5 feet of the target is another target's enemy, such as your ally. Backstabbing has never been so easy before. Moreover, over time, Rogue learns to avoid consequences of own actions. From 5th level, with Uncanny Dodge Halve received attack damage. From 7th level with Evasion, when someone throws a fireball at Rogue, either takes no damage at all, if succeeds on the saving throw, or just half if fails the saving throw. Rogue can really dodge explosions like Neo in the Matrix, especially from 18th level, when Elusive makes that no attack roll has advantage against Rogue. And from 15th level, Slippery Mind giving proficiency in Wisdom saving throws helps Rogue to be good at not only dodging physical attacks, but also mental. And good luck to take a drop on Rogue. From 14th level with Blind Sense, if Rogue is able to hear, then is aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet. From that level, nobody outrogues the class, but those times when Rogue chooses to take the spotlight, the class can be very useful, such as using Expertises, which allows to double proficiency bonus for certain ability checks. From 11th level, the class becomes reliable, of course as reliable as a backstabbing rogue can be. Reliable talent allows to treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10 whenever rogue makes an ability check that lets to add proficiency bonus. All that peaks when from level 20, once per short rest can choose to turn a failed ability check into a nat 20 roll. Imagine how powerful that is for out-of-combat moments, such as convincing the king to declare a new holiday in the rogue's name, where everyone competes to be the edgiest edgelord around. That auto nat 20 can come handy. Of course, not all rogues are stereotypical brooding edgelords, but instead might just have a huge social anxiety and are constantly misunderstood, even to a comical degree. And then there is a 2014 monk. If you want to be a great short-distance delivery worker, then I have a class for you. A monk has the best non-magical movement, even if it means infringing on Jesus Christ copyrights by running on water. Monk gains from additional 10 feet movement at 2nd level to 30 feet at 18th level with unarmored movement, and can use a bonus action to dash with Step of the Wind, costing 1 Kai point. So if Monk can take action to dash, and bonus action to dash again, then the speed is tripled. And 20th level Monk can dash like that for a whole 20 turns. That is 2 minutes in a row. Each turn moving 180 feet, which is whole 20.45 miles, 32.4 kilometers per hour. Are you kidding me? That's not even faster than real-life Olympic sprinters. Monk's cardio and top speed are so bad, because usually in very high levels, player characters are basically demigods, such as Fullcasters being masters of time and space, including almost instantly travelling to the other side of the world. And besides movement, Monk has nothing really going for. So enjoy parkour skills like slow fall, allowing to reduce any falling damage taken, which, after a certain point, practically becomes full damage immunity and later level unarmored movement, giving an ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on Monk's turn without falling during the move. To be even better employee, from 10th level Monk is immune to disease and poison with purity of body, so significantly less sick days, also can understand all spoken language, and any creature that can understand a language can understand what Monk says with Tongue of the Sun and Moon, which helps with customer service and the company expanding to animal market. Still, it has nothing on exploitation the timeless body allows. A Monk suffers none of the frailty of old age and no longer needs food or water, so no need for retirement and lunch breaks. Imagine leaning in how underpowered the 2014 class is, be it always terrified of every little thing, like Scooby-Doo, or hilariously overconfident like Johnny Bravo. Let's move to half-casters. Do you wish to be like a Jedi, a master of sword, while also having supernatural abilities? Paladin is like Monk, but better, much, much, much better. While Monk takes a fist to a gunfight, Paladin takes a lightsaber. Besides getting fighting style just like Fighter, the class also gets Divine Smite, which adds that sweet, radiant damage, especially useful against undead and fiend evildoers. On top of that, Paladin is the closest class to represent a classical superhero like Superman, even having a moral-based code engraved in the class in the form of Sacred Oath and Divine Sense. Is a baddie finding GPS, feeling disturbance in the Force. While Monk can heal only itself, Paladin can use lay on hands to help others, be it STD or that nasty hangover from last night's party. Of course, just like Monk, Paladin itself does not need sick days by having immunity to disease. But while Monk gets it from 10th level, Paladin gets Divine Health from 3rd level. Paladin is the best wingman and the protection, especially on a night out. From 6th level Aura of Protection helps to avoid nasty effects, and from 10th level Aura of Courage protects from getting cold feet when approaching that cute person in the canteen. Of course, if Paladin has not passed out from drinking too much, or in other way becoming unconscious. So if you want to wield divine powers, look like a total badass, and be the ultimate friend to have by side, then choose Paladin. Some are born as gods, others achieve it through their hard work and ingenuity. Instead of getting a sugar daddy or mummy like a Paladin, an Artificer like Iron Man always crafts and adapts by using pure brainpower to whip up the coolest gadgets and magical tools for all kinds of situations. The best part? Artificer can take the most mundane thing and make it magical, such as with magical tinkering by touching a tiny non-magical object, can give it one magical property, such as whenever tapped by a creature, the object emits a recorded message. Great for pranks, such as by turning a spoon into a fart machine that lets out a ridiculously loud sound every time someone tries to eat with it. I so much like how Artificer supports its squad in ways that are way more permanent than just using support spells. From level 2, Infuse item gives even more cool effects, such as going Thor and having returning weapon, which makes Artificer's or allies' weapon magical, a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and it returns to the wielder's hand immediately after it is used to make a ranged attack. From 6th level, the class gains Iron Man Worthy Infusion, Repulsion Shield, granting not only +1 bonus to armor class, but also the wielder can use a reaction immediately after being hit by a melee attack and push the attacker up to 15 feet away. Bonus points if it pushes the opponent off the cliff or into Iron Maiden. After all, last time I checked, an opportunity attack counts as a melee attack. From 11th level with spell storing item can even store a level 1 or 2 Artificer spell in an object, which can be used even by allies to set up combos or open new possibilities. I like to imagine Artificer being an unhinged, chaotic troll or a crazy scientist, just curious to see what inventions can come up with and how they impact other people. As a skilled crafter, from 3rd level can get needed tools, and from 6th level improves proficiency with tools. After all, a true crafter never leaves the house without a wrench. They never know when they will need to fix something or turn it into a weapon of mass chaos. Like Iron Man, Artificer uses quick thinking to get out of sticky situations. So from 7th level, with a flash of genius, can add Artificer's intelligence modifier to the saving throw or ability check roll. The class goes full tank mode from level 20, while other classes can only attune up to 3 magic items. The Artificer is all about flexing that gear. The class gets additional ones from 10th, 14th, and 18th levels, which supercharges the capstone ability. Soul of Artifice gives a +1 bonus to all saving throws per magic item Artificer is currently attuned to. Imagine +6 to all saving throws. Also took a page from the Barbarian's book of being too angry, or in this case, too smart, to die. So if would be reduced to 0 hit points and knocked out, instead drops to 1. Do you want to be badass like Chuck Norris? Then chose Texas Ranger, which is by far the most powerful class in D&D. I do not know who decided that from 1st level, the class gets 30 in all attributes and unlimited wish spells. Wait, what? Okay, that's clearly some homebrew nonsense that snuck in here. If you want to be like Kraven the Hunter, or even aiming to build the ultimate monster waifu harem, then Ranger is for you. With this class, you can really channel your inner stalker. Favored enemy lets you pick the best girl, which is your true love. Aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, giants, monstrosities, oozes, plants, or undead waifu. If Ranger goes humanoid, then even gets 2 races instead of 1, such as gnolls and orcs. Once you've chosen, you can track them down easier than ever and know way too much about them. Over time, Ranger stalkering improves. From 3rd level, Ranger gets waifu sense called Primeval Awareness, which allows to sense if there is aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead waifus within 1 mile radius, or even 6 miles if are in favored terrain for 1 minute per spent Ranger spell level. And with Deft Explorer from 6th level, a swimming speed becomes equal to walking speed, becoming a menace to society, not only on land, but also water. What you will not do for some mermaid waifus. Watch out plant waifus, because from 8th level with Land's Stride, there is no stopping Ranger, because moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs Rangers no extra movement. Can pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them, and without taking damage from pesky things like thorns, spikes, or a similar hazard. In addition, have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such as those created by the Entangle spell. And when you think that being invisible will help to hide from Ranger, from 18th level comes Feral Sense, which makes aware of the location of any invisible creature within 30 feet. And from 10th level Deft Explorer allows whenever finish a short rest, exhaustion level, if any, is decreased by 1, meaning that all those all-nighter stalkings will not take a toll on the body anymore. And Rangers can spend a long time being hidden, because from 10th level gets hide in plain sight. To create +10 bonus to stealth checks worthy camouflage, Ranger just needs to spend 1 minute and must have fresh mud, dirt, plants, soot, or other naturally occurring materials. That happens when somebody is too much into arts and crafts. But let's be real, at 14th level, when Ranger is done playing with leaves, the class gets Vanish, which allows to disappear faster than your dad going out for milk, and Ranger can't be tracked by non-magical means. Do you remember Marshall, Half-Caster and Caster Divide? Warlock does not. The class overall is a huge contradiction by having spell progression like a full caster would, but is very limited and inflexible from level 6 and higher spells. like Ankle Deep Sea, also have many spells, but at the same time really only one, Eldritch Blast. It is basically like choosing between a bazooka or a pistol, and guess what? You go bazooka every time. Because Eldritch Blast is a cantrip, so can be used constantly. Has a long range and high damage for a cantrip. Moreover, force damage is hardly ever resisted, not to mention being immune to. The rest simply rotates around the spell, making it more customized, such as from 2nd level getting Eldritch invocations like Agonizing Blast allows add Charisma modifier to the damage Eldritch Blast deals on a hit for extra boom, or Eldritch Spear extends the spell's range to 300 feet. And from it stems fun combos such as from 1st level as various human getting spell sniper feat, so can later double Eldritch Spear range and get 600 feet range for some great kiting. In open space, it is game-breaking at least at lower levels because many ranged weapon maximum range is 320 feet. Only things like longbow's maximum range is 600 feet, but the attack is made with a disadvantage and deals 1d8 compared to the spell's 1d10. Warlock basically can kite enemies from so far away that they don't even know what is hitting them. Warlock could be on the other side of a village and take down opponents. Another combo is to cast a hazardous area effect and then use Grasp of Hadar-infused Eldritch Blast to yoink enemies straight into the danger zone. Classic Warlock move, and all of this happens while Warlock's sugar daddy or mommy, a Cthulhu-level being, sits there, completely confused, like, what have I unleashed? I find it really funny when power dynamics with Patreon are flipped, and a Cthulhu-like being is horrified or just does not comprehend the Warlock, and granted powers are more like a payment for something, such as Warlock explaining certain things. And then there are casters, who usually from higher levels are usually the closest thing to playing a god in D&D. Do you wish to be popular, solve problems in ways not involving combat, make dragonborns? Then Bard is for you. This anti-rogue is not hiding in the shadows. They want to be front and center, with high charisma and an arsenal of ways to influence the world around them. From 2nd level, Jack of all trades makes them better at everything. From 3rd level, 2 skills gain expertise, making even more the Swiss Army knife of the party. Also, for the class, teamwork means supporting others, whether it's boosting allies' rolls with bardic inspiration, or from 2nd level helping party recover more hit points with Song of Rest. With all this support, no wonder that other party members love to have Bard around. At 10th, 14th and 18th levels, Bard gains huge spellcasting versatility with magical secrets. After all, being able to learn 2 spells from any class. That's right, folks. Bards too can get in on those wizard or cleric shenanigans and create some of the craziest spell combos in the game. Ever hear of the infinite, no consequences wish loop? Oh, it's real. In a nutshell, with Simulacrum create a clone of a target who can cast Wish and Simulacrum, then the clone casts on itself Simulacrum, kickstarting the cycle of creating a clone, then casting Wish, and then being disposed of due to the nature of Simulacrum's spell. It's a never-ending cycle of chaos, where the caster basically becomes a god of, I can do whatever I want, and there are no consequences. Also, what if Bard was not a stereotypical flirt? Picture this. An asexual bard who's just out here collecting stories, learning the lore of the land, so can talk with people all night long. But other people, especially party members, think that Bard is making love instead. Do you want to be the true master of life and death and make Jesus look like an amateur? Then Cleric is for you. Of course, from 10th level, Cleric can directly call to the prayed god, and from 20th level, Cleric becomes a premium member, so can always expect an answer. I swear, it is not a pyramid scheme. A god just gets more powerful. More people are devoted to that god, and in return, high-level clerics become more powerful. Because the god has more juice to grant more spectacular wishes. So clerics are incentivized to recruit others for the faith and climb up to the ranks. When it works, divine intervention is a really powerful stuff, possibly being the most powerful ability in all D&D. But before that, the class came from humble beginnings of preventing zombie apocalypses, hunting vampires, and just being Bane or even Boogeyman for all undead. After all, turn undead from 2nd level, allows to strike fear into creatures, who usually do the same to normal people. From 5th level, Cleric can scare undead so much that undead just quits. Cleric also can cast spells and use Channel Divinity in ways which are subclass defined, but overall are healing or protection oriented. Notably, starting from 5th level, can cast level 3 spell Revivify, making death about as serious as having a very expensive nap. Is your religion Fireball?
Fireball solves every situation. There's only Fireball.
Do you want to be the ultimate blaster caster like Megaman from Konosuba? Then Sorcerer is for you. Class dishing out some crazy high area burst damage capable of wiping out entire rooms of baddies in an instant. But do not expect the class to last long if you are mismanaging resources similar to Megaman, because Sorcerer is very dependent on available spell slots and sorcery points, which luckily are interchangeable with Font of Magic. The real fun comes with meta magic, because can take your favorite spells to the next level. Want to dodge a pesky counterspell? Use Subtle Spell and boom, no one even knows you are casting magic. Want to be a true action economy legend? Quicken Spell lets you cast a fireball as a bonus action, and then you can use your main action to either get up an unconscious ally with a potion, or go full chaos mode and toss in a cantrip like Mind Sliver or Eldritch Blast. No wonder that with Sorcerer, you are always one step away from shouting. Do you wish to use trippy spell combos just like Stephen Strange? Then chose Wizard. Spells in a trench coat pretending to be a class. While the class might not be as flashy as Sorcerers, Wizard lasts longer thanks to Arcane Recovery at very high levels, Spell Mastery and Signature Spell, and has utility like a Swiss Army knife with a better spell list than Sorcerer, due to an ability to learn new spells outside leveling up. With enough information about upcoming challenges, Wizard becomes Batman with prep time, because for some reason, Wizards of the Coast has made Wizard the strongest class at higher levels, or at least one of, due to the vast amount of available spells of course, if Wizard manages to live long enough. It is like there is an unspoken agreement that if Wizard can survive past the fragile early levels, the class eventually becomes a walking apocalypse. In the hands of a newbie, a low-level Wizard will die by tripping and falling out of a window, while an experienced player will make into a fortress with spells like Mage Armor, Shield, Absorb Elements, and feats like Lucky and Tough. I find it entertaining to have a super curious Wizard who is fascinated by even the most mundane seeming thing, and somehow it loops around at learning a new spell. Spells are a very important part of casters, so let's discuss spell schools. This list will be super subjective and starting from less to more interesting to use. At the bottom is Divination. Either your DM nerfs it into the ground, or even when it is done right, then often spoils some fun twists. Also can feel redundant, because can be substituted by real-life deductive thinking, clever problem solving, and so on. Then comes Necromancy, because raising an undead army sounds awesome, but in practice, it's a logistical nightmare. Turn order gets bogged down when you are handling so many undead, and your fellow players are left waiting. And honestly, I dislike how grim the spell school feels, due to being death-centric. Abjuration spells like Counterspell or Dispel Magic are necessary to counter enemy casters from unleashing devastating spells. But let's face it, they can be a buzzkill, sucking the fun out of an encounter. You stop the enemy from doing anything exciting, hitting the brakes on the action. Evocation. Yes, Fireball is the most iconic spell, due to how powerful it is, but after a while, spells like it feel kinda bland. Just damage numbers without any flair, lacking the personality that makes magic truly fun. This is where things get fun. If the DM does it wrong, then illusions are ignored, such as all enemies attacking the real caster, instead of at least some going after illusions. But done right, it can lead to some truly hilarious chaos. A good DM will let you Looney Tunes the enemy into running into a wall, because thought that it is a tunnel, or biting into a cactus, because thought that it is a caster. Done right, it's a troll's dream come true, limited only by imagination. If illusion depends on the target's naivety, then enchantment is much more direct, messing with emotions. Spells like Charm Person and Dominate Monster can turn a mortal enemy into the best friend with whom can have a wild party. If have the right group, then combined with social engineering and affecting key people, the school can bring down empires without any traditional combat, but instead a chess-like social and political battles. Conjuration is pure creativity. Create objects, summon otherworldly creatures, or even teleport yourself to places you definitely should not be, including different dimensions. You can pull off crazy schemes, like creating objects with time limits and tricking people into thinking they've got something valuable, only for it to disappear later. Gathering of conjurers must be one wild party, because they can summon celestials, fiends, elementals, and so on. At the top of the list is transmutation. This school gives you the most fun tools to toy with reality. Want to temporarily turn lead into gold, or a troll into a unicorn for some shady deal with nasty surprise to buyers? Done. Need to pretend to be a celestial being to have an extra authority for some next level con artistry? You got it. Want to turn the final boss into a chicken? I waited for this all the campaign. It can also modify a body in lesser ways, such as change size, so a chocolate cake becomes a chocolate mountain. Similar to conjuration, can have creatures, but this time make from objects, such as to animate objects or create homunculus. It is only a matter of time until players are creating sex bots. I am eager to read your comments. How do you creatively use spells? What is the most interesting way to roleplay a certain class? Hope your gaming time will become even more enjoyable with my other content.